Hey guys, welcome back to Motorcycle Maintenance Channel. Today I'm going to show you how to replace a Woodcraft Clip-On. This can work on most bikes because it's an aftermarket part, the Clip-On. It happens to be on my CBR 1000. Unfortunately, we have to change it because an R6 motorcycle decided the best way to make an inside pass on me was to plant his bike into the side of my motorcycle and take me off the track, breaking 2 of these ribs. But that was 10 days ago, so it shouldn't interfere with our work. Anyways, I'm going to show you how to replace this. They come on various bikes. I used to have some on my FC6, and now I have some on this bike. They're good to have because they make replacing your clip-ons easy. You don't have to take off the triple tree or anything to mess with it. It's just a bar replacement. So we'll go through those steps now. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take off this grip off of the throttle tube. And we're going to use a little compressed air because it really helps break the grip free. You don't need compressed air. You can sometimes just do it with lube, but it really does make it easier than trying to hulk it off of there. You just hit it here and there. Yep, that comes right off. Okay. And while we're here, okay, we got our grip off. Just blow it clean a little bit. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to take off this assembly here. Honestly, I probably didn't even have to take that grip off. But we did anyway. That's how you take a grip off. So we're going to take the back of this starter assembly off. Again, you'll have to excuse the sweat dripping off of me, but unfortunately here in Texas, even at 10 o'clock at night, it's still 90 degrees outside. Okay, take that cover off. Now there's one more screw here. Use a little flathead screwdriver to pry that off. Probably being a little stubborn because it's not supposed to be bent like that. Alright, now we don't have really the clearance to take it off, right? But we're going to disassemble it there and we'll have the clearance. Okay, next we're going to get our 8mm socket. Sure, turn it the right way. And take off the brake assembly. Just loosen it. Again, just loosen it a good bit there. All right. And now, one bolt here. That's a 5mm Allen key. Of course, I put it on there really tight for no reason. Well, I guess it has to be for a reason. You don't want them coming loose on you when you're going down the track. And we take that off. And the guy who picked me up in the crash wagon actually bent that straighter than what it was. But that's what it looks like when someone throws an R6 at you and you go tumbling down the way. And yeah, I'm gonna call out that guy with the R6 because I'm a little bitter. And this is what it looks like when it's not straight. Now before we put this on, we're going to have to drill this little hole in it like that. So So I'm just going to line it up here like so, and then we're going to drill it right there and put it on. These are the extra long Woodcraft bars. I got them extra long because I'm kind of a bigger guy, and it just helps me fit on the bike a little better. So let me get my drill set up. And yes, my workstation is very messy. I need to work on that. But they say creative people are messy. Not that I'm not all that creative. I'm definitely messy. Looks good. Looks like I marked it just a little bit over, but it's not exact. So we'll start here with our smaller bit. We'll do a small hole and then slowly get bigger. And they're aluminum, so it's not too hard. And they're aluminum, and they're kind of meant to be soft to bend like that, so you don't mess up your forks and stuff. All right, there's one hole. We'll get it a little bit bigger now. There's another one. Let's see how if I got it close. That there is pretty close. Good enough for me. I think it needs to be just a tad bigger though. So move up to the next size. Yep. Where is it? Yeah. All right. See if this one will fit through there. It does. Does this one fit? No. So we're gonna have to go one more size, and that should be it right there. I mean, you could go right for the big one, but I think this is the best way personally. Done. All right, and she's ready to go back on. Okay. And we made a hole. And these are only like $16, these bars. I think the smaller ones are even less. And they're meant to be replaced just for these instances when R6 motorcycles run you off the road. And I'm going to continue to call that guy out because, man, I'm bitter. I don't know why. I shouldn't be bitter. I'm bitter because it happened during a practice. It wasn't even a race. It was just a track day. I was supposed to make my race the next weekend and I couldn't do it. So it just adds a little insult to injury, you know? Alright. I'm going to set my hole a little bit further down than it was last time, because I was actually having a little bit of issue reaching the stop when you go wide open throttle and hitting the stop. So I want it a little bit farther this way so that I can hit that wide open throttle earlier. And I think that'll help me out too on the straights, because on the straights you want to hit wide open throttle. It helps you stay consistent when you're at wide open throttle. It really helps you stay consistent. You go all the way to wide open throttle and you're hard on the brakes before the next turn. If you're not at wide open throttle, you don't know how much brake to give it. But we'll do that. We'll do a tutorial later. This is just, I'm going off into a tangent. All right. Cobra's got to keep me on focus there. All right, so, and what I'm doing here, I'm taking my time a little bit because I want to line it up so it sticks out just as far as that one over there on that side. And I'm kind of persnickety about that. Just want it to be symmetrical. I didn't have to be that tight, but last thing you want is that thing coming off on you at speed. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to line this thing up in that hole. And then we're going to tighten it down with a Phillips screwdriver. So that hole we drilled is right there, and this little indention in the clamp has to sink in that hole. Oops. Okay. Let me get down here. Just make sure. Here, it's snapping there. And you can always readjust it later. And readjusting it is just because of the nature of this thing. Is just one 5 key Allen bolt right here. And you can twist it back the other way if you think it's too far. It's fully adjustable to fit your needs and where you want it to be. And that's pretty cool about these things. Whereas the stock ones, you just kind of have one way to put it on there. You don't really have the same adjustability. Okay, now we're going to put the back cover on. Actually, while this is off, let me just make sure the wiring looks good there. Yeah, the wiring all looks good still. Alright. Stick that in. And I refuse the ambulance ride because I'm not paying $1,000 to go to the hospital. Besides, I kind of knew afterwards, I was like, man, this guy broke my ribs. And there's nothing they can really do for you at the hospital for broken ribs. There's no cast or anything. They were a little concerned that maybe I'd punctured a lung because I was only getting like 88 oxygen levels and I'm supposed to get like 98 to 100. But I think I just got the wind knocked out of me and I had a lot of adrenaline flowing and was really angry. I checked my oxygen levels again. It was back up at like 97, but then my pulse shot up to 230. They're like, you're in shock. I was like, you know what? Probably am, but I'll just go see the hospital the next day. I actually waited a couple of days, and I started coughing up blood, and I got a little concerned. And I decided, you know what? I should go to the hospital. And they x-rayed me and the doctor said, well, looks like one of your ribs might have scratched one of your lungs. But there's nothing he could do for me. I didn't mind paying the $189 though for the peace of mind to know that I was going to be okay. All right, and I guess Yeah, that looks like it feels good. All right, tighten up those bolts there. Do I want it here? Do I want it a little further up? Let me see. I'm going to just adjust this. It comes down this way, hits here. It hit there before, so that's not too bad. But I'm really more concerned, and I can't really tell because it's on the stand. But yeah, I'm pretty far away. So that's about where it was before. So I'm going to leave it at about, a little, let me see, one more. It kind of rubs there. That's pretty flexible though, I can bend that. And we'll come back. Yeah, that's good. So I'm going to leave it about like that. But, you know, if you do happen to have an off and come off the motorcycle and you're not feeling right and you haven't broke ribs before, you know, go ahead and take that ride to the hospital. The track guy told me, he's like, if you pass out, I'm taking you to the hospital. I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to pass out. And I probably didn't have to take this grip off, but I showed you how to do it. So now you know. Looks good, looks true. All right, so now this is kind of unnecessary taking this off, but I guess not totally unnecessary, because we want to make sure the throttle tube didn't crack, which it looks like it's in good shape despite the bar bending the way it did. And we're going to put the grip back on. Now I like to just use hairspray, and it was a good thing about living with two princesses is we have access to hairspray. So we just kind of hit the inside of it up with hairspray. You know, what hairspray does is it lubes up the grip so it'll slide into place, and then when it dries, it'll be kind of like glue, but it's not real tight glue, so that when you need to take it off again, you can. So, and then it also gives your bike that nice, fresh, new hair smell. So, is it symmetrical to the other one? Oh no, the other one's tilted the other way. So I'm gonna do it like this while hairspray's still wet. I can move it around. All right. There we go. It looks pretty even to what the other one looks like over there. I'm kind of obsessed with things being even sometimes. And then I do it to where there's just a little bit of meat left on this side, so I can put my my brake guard on, because if you put it, as you can see, the brake guard, if it goes just on here, it'll move around, so it kind of has to be just on that hard part. But we're not going to do that right now. But that is how you change out a Woodcraft Clip-On, which is pretty generic to all bikes. So if you get Woodcraft Clip-Ons, it'll be an easy operation. You'll see when we do the R3 that doesn't have Woodcraft Clip-Ons, there's a little bit more to it. All right, guys, stay out of the grease.